than drugs. So if you have a problem with a fizzy drink, a bottle of drink, for instance, and you find substances in it, you don't go to NAFDAC. They may have the regulation as to ensure that there is a BB date, there is a NAFDAC number, and all the rest. So I should expect that they would understand from their own law if they have the powers that we have to address complaints.
They should refer that to you.
They should refer ordinarily, but they don't. They should refer because we are the protector of consumers.
Because I'm trying to see who is more important here, because you go to places, now you just mentioned the airports and some other places, you see boldly displayed rights or duties of the consumer towards that agency, but you don't get to see the rights of the consumer, that what he or she is entitled to. So in a case like that, now you said, you just painted a vivid description of or scenario of what happened, to the extent that these people had to sleep on the lounges. They should be compensated, right?
Absolutely.
So who takes charge of such compensation when such rights are breached?
That's what I'm saying, that I've started an investigation.
On that particular matter?
And it's almost over.
How did it get to you? Did anyone call?
Yes. I got calls, and I even got a lawyer who represented about 40 of the 50 people sending a letter to us, based on which we've started. The beauty of investigating is that you start with a little thing, because investigation allows you to call for any information that you want, documents, whatever it is that you need to help you take a decision as to whether this right, whether a consumer has been abused. And the one I did with the food and beverage company took us 4 months, including paying an unscheduled on-site visit to the plants of the company all over the country. And it's amazing, the findings. So with the airlines, I also wanted to go beyond just this incident to find out a lot more about other infractions of consumer rights. And so they have come in and they've given me the necessary report, which since I have not made the report public yet, I would not want to dwell in it, but just to say that there will be a finding and a report on that event, which will help me to, like I say, begin to clean that sector, because the report is not going to dwell on that singular issue. It's going to also address other issues and other complaints within the aviation sector.
You know, one would think that the CPC might get overwhelmed. I mean, there are a lot of complaints coming. Went and says here, is the CPC, for instance, intervening in the area of electricity supply? People are getting, what do they call it now? Approximate bills. Their meters are not ready. They are not billed appropriately. And so they are just given like estimated bills. That's what they are given. This other person, Falola, talks about how they boarded an airline, she said Kenyan Airlines, their bags were ripped and things stolen from the bags. They've complained. Nothing's been done about it. So many complaints are coming in here. Now, wouldn't the CPC be overwhelmed? Can the CPC cover the entire nation with all the myriads of complaints that are coming in?
Good question, which is what gave me sleepless nights when I took over this job. Because I realized that the abuse has been so systemic over the years that it is now a big heap. That if you want to deal with it, you can't take it from the bottom, you can't take it from the middle, you can only begin to take it from the top bit by bit if you must make any impact. And that was why I had to do a strategic plan to say, how do I address this? I don't just want to come and begin to take individual complaints. It will overwhelm the staff. And so I sat down with experts and we look at it. What is the best way to deal very quickly too? Because Nigerians are impatient. They're already tired, and they've slipped into such great laxity that they don't even care anymore. And I don't like that apathy.
But
So
you know it can change if we have an effective council like the CPC, and because if I know that A, B, and C had their issues redressed, resolved, then the others will follow suit. It's because over time, nothing has happened. In a case where people complain, we've had this. Someone has been complaining about Dana Air. I'm trying to get that particular tweet here, saying that he has not been compensated. Whether he has brought that before your council is another thing.
He's asking for a refund.
But he's been asking for refund, and over time he kept on sending that message until now. You hear he's still sending the message that he needs a refund.
I'm not blaming consumers about the apathy that they are in. I'm just saying that for me, that's a challenge. And I say to you here, I can only do whatever needs to be done within the last 9 months that I came in here. And within the 9 months, I know if the truth must be said, I've tried to raise the visibility of the council in terms of the various interventions that we are making. And that very shortly too, if they give a little bit of time, they would begin to gain confidence in the CPC to be able to send complaints, because we are putting in place. And like I said, I'm doing sectoral reforms so that at the end of those reforms, the complaints coming out will be minimized. Because if the aviation takes the cue and for all the rights that you're entitled to and ensure that the flights are not delayed, and if they are delayed, you get your compensation, the complaints will be minimal. So that's why I'm taking the sectoral approach of trying to redress some of these complaints.
About telecoms now, because part of what I was trying to do ask at the initial stage was that all of these agencies, just as you described, it's huge. The challenge is huge. So you will get people, including agencies, that will try to frustrate this. So that was what I was alluding to initially. But back to this telecoms matter now. Are you going to further invite the CEOs to another meeting?
I will. And Nigerians should be watching. Because I think that Nigerians have powers as consumers. And if they dare use their powers as consumers, most of these businesses will be out of business.
You think they are untouchables?
I don't know. I don't think they are untouchables before the law. I don't know if they say they are, but I don't know. But we'll get to the root of it, because like he's asked me, I intend, like I said, to have a second meeting. First one, I excuse them. I don't know, for whatever reason, as a first offender, like we say, let's go. But you must come back. We must discuss. We must agree that consumers must get value for money.
Because this telecoms issue from top to bottom is affected. You've seen a lot of people complain about the kind of shoddy service they get. And when they complain, even lawyers like yourself, they complain. And you look, if this learned mind seem helpless, then who am I? And now you bring this before the fore. That is why people are quite interested in this. And this is the theme the world over for this year's Consumer Protection Day. I'm still interested in how we can take this further away from the meeting they haven't actually come to. How can we start compiling some of these breaches by these people? We still haven't talked about that. Perhaps that is when you can also bring in the phone line that people can actually reach your council on.
We receive complaints anyway on this sector, as with all sectors. If for further complaints, fine, but we already have enough complaints in the system. But that is not to preclude complaints coming in, because that will further, even when these meetings are held and there is an agreement as to way forward, we still need the complaints to show whether our agreements are working or not. So the complaints can be sent to our website. They can be sent, again, I must at some point in time discuss the challenge that I have in running the council. which everybody seemed to sweep over because that's the sing-song in all government agencies.